Hello everyone and welcome back to another Planet Game Dev video. This time I've actually got some decent progress, although a lot of it is behind the scenes. It should help speed up things in the future. Currently, you can fell trees for wood, mine rocks for stone, and build houses with those resources. Each planet has a number of people, which soon will live in the houses. And to do a task like building a house or mining a rock, one person gets assigned to do that, which basically means you can only do so many tasks at once, in this case 4 because that's how many people I decided to test with. I also made it so that if you do something that you can't, such as building a house without enough resources, it will give you a nice error message on the screen. I also rewrote a lot of the networking with asynchronous functions instead of synchronous, which makes everything a lot easier. Let's start with the issue I was having last time with the networking. In the last video I said that I was switching over from synchronous networking to asynchronous networking. This means that the client and server can talk to each other a lot more easily, since before the server couldn't send any data to the client without the client first requesting it. This has been changed, and it allows to remove a lot of code duplication, where the client and the server were calculating the same thing, and now the server calculates it once and sends the results to the client. This also allows me to remove the pretty bad system of updates, which was a way for the server to tell the client if another client had changed something that I added the other month, and now the server can just directly tell the client if there's anything to change. Because of this, I've actually been able to remove about 400 lines of code from the client, which needless to say is very good. Now, all of the logic happens on the server and just sends the data to the client, such as telling it to set a timer on a tile, set a tile to a different tile type, change the stats, which are the number of stone or wood or any other resources on a particular surface, or show a message. This also means the client no longer has to be able to know the things like time taken for a task, and it also doesn't need to run basically a mini server locally to determine things like what happens when a task finishes. I've also been working on the saving system, which used to work, but somehow I broke it. It's almost there, and there are just a few issues to sort out, such as saving timers to the file, which currently don't get saved at all. Last time I discussed a big bug with the asynchronous networking, and I've actually been able to fix it, and there was actually quite a simple fix, even though it took me over 2 weeks to fix it. It was basically that with asynchronous networking you have to pass in a buffer, where it saves the bytes that it's received until it finds a new line, and when it finds a new line then it knows that the message is done and passes that buffer off to the callback function. The issue is that I was clearing the buffer after it was processing the function, but if it receives part of the next message at the same time as the end of the last, which happens quite commonly, then actually clearing the buffer causes the start of the next message to be deleted, which causes the issue. So now I only delete up to the first new line, which works. Anyway, now that is fixed, I can get on with implementing the features I had last time, but this time using asynchronous networking. And this is where I managed to shave off about 400 lines of code, because a lot of logic in the server was duplicated in the client, so I could just delete the logic in the client and instead send over the data from the server. So as you can see here, you've got the planet's stats here with your stone, your wood, your people idle. You can go and destroy a tree, maybe 2 if you feel like it. You can also mine minerals or get rock. And I'll fast forward till I've got 6 stone and 3 wood, because that's what you need to build a house. Well, I may have decimated the local landscape, but now I have enough stuff to build a house. And I don't know why it's in the demolition tab, it's just a test, It's not finished. But anyway, I'll fast forward through this, because it's, 2 minutes. Right, as you can see, a house has now been built. And currently has no purpose, but soon I'll be adding the ability to actually have people live in the house, and then you can increase this number here, number of people, and you can have more tasks going on at once, because if you have more than a few tasks going on at once, say with these rocks, if I try and mine more than 4 of them at once so there's no people left, what it'll do is it'll give me an error message, no people available. That's a bit of a bug, I'll fix that. But anyway, that then just means, there's no people available to complete the task. And if I try and build a house and I don't have enough stuff, it'll also say insufficient resources. I also changed the menu so it's responsive to zooming and panning, so it always stays in the same place relative to a tile. Also, if you're only good at art and want to contribute to the game, there's a tutorial on how to make a texture pack on the GitHub page. And if it's good, with permission of course, I might include it as the main textures, or maybe in a list of official texture packs. Also worth mentioning, there is a new project called Solar Launcher, which is an unofficial launcher for Planet Game made by Daniel, which addresses the issue that Planet Game is hard to launch, because you have to pass in the server address as a command line argument, so the launcher does this automatically. Soon I will make a main menu, I've been working with Adam to design that, which will perform that function, but the launcher will probably then become more like the Minecraft launcher, where you can log in and switch versions, etc. If anyone wants a binary for Windows, then join the Discord server in the description. It's a server for showing off your software projects and giving feedback, and I post there frequently with news, a lot more than I do here on YouTube, and that's also where I post the compiled versions of Planet Game. I'll be running a server on my VPS for everyone to connect to and mess around. The IP is also in that server. But anyway, a lot of progress under the hood, but it's all coming together, and hopefully one day this will pay off. My plans just now are to get the server saving stuff, and also error handling on the server. Then to make sure the new features will work when the client disconnects or the server restarts, because currently timers will not be loaded again if the client relogs or the server restarts. Then I will make a menu, hopefully, and make it so that people live in houses and reproduce. Anyway, that's all for now. See you in a bit. Lick and subscribe, and bye!